Hello to my spooky cool podcast friends. Today we have a very special guest, Ginger Thelin, and she has a list of topics, and we're going to go over some that are very important and genuine to her heart. And I think the message is going to be phenomenal for all women.
Okay, so we're talking about social studies and what's happening right now, contemporary stuff. So when people tell me, as they sometimes often do, that they're not going to talk politics, they're not interested in politics, they don't want to hear it, my attitude is, are you American? Because that's what we're all about. We're about self-governing, and you can't get any more political than an American, whether they know it consciously or not. So I have had that on my heart today. And partly because I have a constant interesting challenge with a friend, very masculine, apparently misogynistic, wonderful cover. Have you ever met a scam artist you didn't love?
Right.
Very charming, very witty, very intelligent, very nice person. But then out comes that little thing like an eel, and it strikes, and now you're just a puddle on the floor. You have to regroup, and you can't hardly believe it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Your brain doesn't want to accept that somebody was so cruel as to just like that. They've disfigured you. They cut off your legs at the knees or something, and while you're trying to gather all that back in, they're just as happy as can be, as if nothing happened, and your confusion continues with them to grow, so that every time you open to trust them, you can bet something's going to happen. But do we ever learn? I don't know about other women, but I have never learned. In over 80 years, I still fall for this, because I'm trained to be very feminine by my culture. My culture was the culture of power, governing power. And so I was trained to be receptive and submissive and support the men in power. And it's still going on. But the men that think they're in power are often the guy driving the delivery truck, or the guy that just fixed your car, or the guy. It's a male thing now that the men are in power. So I fit in very well if I followed my conditioning, which I don't, of course. But I do constantly have to fight to hold my own, and it's not very relaxing and fun. When they say girls just want to have fun, they've been saying this for several hundred years. My grandmother marched to vote. So yeah, it would be nice if life was fun, because it's supposed to be fun. I think that life is given us as a privilege, as a gift, and it's wonderful. It's great. It's what you choose. It's it's like taking a picture with a camera. You focus on, do you want to focus on the little, I did this the other day. I focused on this amazing little bug. I've never seen one of these bugs. It's called a wheel bug. And I may never see another, because in all these years I've never seen one. And so I focused on taking the picture of the bug, not the bloom. And it was a good experience. It wasn't that he was bugging me or anything. It was just curiosity on my part. But sometimes you want to focus on the beauty of the bloom. So I don't know, sometimes some people it seems like they're spending all their time trying to wash the sun beams off of the window. They're concentrating so hard on the clean windows that they haven't noticed there's fun in life. If you're receptive, if you allow it. I notice a lot of people complain And I have to point out, wait, you're not opening your mind to that. You're saying that it's really hard and people have come down on you for this, and people are mean and they don't let you do your thing. But there's another side of this, and I don't hear you opening your mind to receiving that side where people are really wonderful, kind and loving, and trying to be friendly, and maybe even trying to sort of merge with you, and the two of you can do a wonderful adventure together, and you're close to it. So don't tell me you're having a terrible life, because life is terrible and people are mean and the world is a nasty place, because you're telling me that you are only willing to look through one part of the binoculars. You can't just look through one little hole. You've got to look through both, and then you've got to make your brain put those two perceptions together to get one. And we're just evolving. Apparently humans are evolving into that now. We're on the third, I think we're on the third part. We've done the physical part. We can take ourselves apart like cars and put ourselves back together and be totally new and different. So we've got the physical down, and we've got the mental down, because we've got machines now to do anything. We've arrived mentally. Now what are we working on? Emotional intelligence. That, from my point of view, I don't know anything. I'm making this all up, but
No, it's perfect. Absolutely. I feel like that each of us are here to break the generational curses of our ancestors.
But they had the blessing. They're all blessings. I don't think you
Oh,
can change
absolutely,
the curses. I
absolutely.
think
There are
the
blessings.
blessings are all
I love it. Yep.
What is the word I'm looking? You can. They're like butterfly wings. You got to put one up and one down, and one up and one down, or legs. We can't.
That's so. Every time, not to get too religious, but anytime I'm suffering, I thank God, because I feel like it's a lesson.
Because you feel like what?
It's a lesson. It's a lesson. It's a blessing.
We're here.
And
We came because either we're the dumbest ones, and we came because we wanted a real challenge.
right.
Because this earth has a dense atmosphere around it. It's called worldly.
Right.
And materialism, and physical. Okay, so here we are. We're out there flying free, loving it. All merging and interflying and one and childlike, I guess. I've forgotten, so I don't know. But we decide we're going to come down here because we want to send information back to wherever the higher all, the source of all is. And so we come through that dense, probably that could be the gravity field, and hit this ground, and it zonks something in our brain, and we don't remember how free we almost do. So we're kind of frustrated. We're very frustrated because we do have a memory there someplace of what it used to be like when we were free spirited. But now we've got to separate from one another. We can't be like we were and combine and make contact and be familiar in the same way. And so we're all singular. And now what do you do with that? I'm separate from you. I don't want to be separate from everybody. I want to be one with everybody. That seems to me to make more sense someplace inside of me. But I can't, because if I'm going to learn to play the piano, I got to learn it alone with my hands doing the tricks. I can't do very much here in the physical unless I do it alone, because I'm in this restricted vehicle, this vessel that I have to work with. So it's like you took a robot and you stuck a spirit in it, a brain maybe, and it stumps me. It's hard. So I've spent 80 some years trying to get the spiritual part of me and the worldly part to work together. And it's like learning how to walk. I've had children. I've taught. I've been with children all my life. Okay, so when you watch them, people used to, if a little kid learning how to walk fell down, I just sit and watch happily and beam, because I'm so glad to see life in that little being. And other people are leaping up to put their child up, back up. Oh, poor thing. Oh, well, it doesn't matter if I fall down. Mom's always there. She's gonna fix it. Okay, well, not this mom. This mom didn't protect her children that way. And I had people, and I had all boys. And I remember people saying, how can you watch your boys doing that? That is dangerous or risky. And I would say, well, they're doing it with me here. That's the difference. I can pick up a phone and call for an ambulance if they get hurt. But they feel confident to do it, and they're learning.
Absolutely.
Whether they can do it or not, really.
Yep.
And so every child I used to tell my husband, don't put the little boy up in the what is that? The crook of the tree, because unless he's used his muscles to pull up onto that tree and climb that tree, he can't get down. His muscles aren't ready. He hasn't trained them. Let him be. So when my kids would fall down, and I'd watch them push those beautiful big they had fat little legs, I'd watch them. They were creating muscles and muscle memory in their legs. And now when people say, oh, I've got to have a knee operation, I say, wait, don't do it until after you've tried talking to it. Muscle memory. Let your muscles know how much you appreciate them. I'm still walking. I got to appreciate that when I look around and there's 75 or 70-year-old people that are unable to walk because they forgot to walk. They think they can't because maybe their grandmother didn't at 70, or their boss at 70 was crippled, so they think they should be. No, I don't know where you get these ideas. Everything is imagined. So I'm going to imagine the very best I can imagine.
I love that.
So, okay.
Yeah, so we speak kindness to ourselves. We speak love to ourselves. We speak healing to ourselves. And we can really do anything, can't we? I think if you live in that negative headspace, you do get sick more often, or you might get hurt more often. But when you live in that positive, gratitude, happy place, then it's just like magic.
But I do have to condition that. I have to qualify that, because you get people, and they're good people, and they're not dumb, they're not ignorant.
No.
They've got good brains, but they get intent. Humans it seems to me that humans are quick to divide things into only two things that are contrary, like contrary twins, black and white, good and bad, evil saint, a demonic saint, big, little, it's all either or. Everything's either one extreme or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I have had many religious friends that have thought they should be saintly and they'll be okay. No, the world is round, and it's taken us a long time to figure this out, apparently. I don't know, but from what I've heard. So the world is round, so I had to figure this out because my brother and I were totally opposites. So if you put both of us at the top of the world, the earth, the sphere, and we're both going in the opposite direction, his values are not my values, and he doesn't want my values, so we're going in the opposite. Goodbye. We're going to meet at the bottom if we keep going, and we're going to say, hi, good trip, and keep on going. Now we're on the opposite side. Now we get to experience exactly the opposite. So if you try to be the best person in the world and be a saint, I can guarantee from my experience, eventually you're going to be a nightmare.
Oh, goodness.
In
I don't want that.
Yeah, you will. You will, because you've forgotten to. Everything that is the negative, we call the negative, has a purpose. It's positive. It has a purpose. This ground is hard and restrictive. And if I fall on it, it hurts. It's negative. But I thank God I've got a ground to walk around on. How would I have ever learned to walk? And falls are negative. I don't like to hurt myself. But my muscles won't learn how to get me up and hold me up and move if I never use them in getting up. If I just came and popped out of the womb, walking around, no.
I'd be scared.
It wouldn't be right.
No, you wouldn't be.
No, you have to develop the muscles. And if you're given the best in life, the very best, and you didn't earn it by building your muscles, and I'm talking about brain muscles, emotional muscles, heart, I guess that would be, and body muscles, and information muscles. If you haven't developed everything well, you're sort of in balance, you're those muscles, the negative muscles.
Okay.
And so the best people in the world are just fooling themselves as far as I'm concerned. They put out that they're the best, but they can't, and I have a number of people I'm thinking of that do this, they don't see what they're doing unconsciously. So if you're consciously doing one thing, you're simply pushing back to the back, which is going in the other direction, walking the other way. You're pushing back the part you don't approve of, that's all. And it's probably social standards. You were probably taught that to sneeze without saying I'm sorry or whatever is not a good deal. That's not socially acceptable. So you think to sneeze, after a while, you think to sneeze is bad. Then you feel bad because you sneezed. This is not a good, the process of thinking this way is really messed up. But we humans do it. We grab a hold of things and run. We're very impatient. We want it all finished product. No, I am never going to be a finished product, and neither are you. No, never. It's a process. Living experience is a process. If you shortcut and call it life, there's a product. And then you have to put death in because that's the other side of the contrary. Balance. Now you have two products and they begin to rule you. It just happens. And I can't do it. I can't be congested, compacted into a
box.
product.
Yeah.
I am a process, and it changes as we speak. It's changed. Nothing's the same. You can't be a living being and have something that's same. I don't care what.
Okay.
So, get past the last thing I said, which has to do with, I can't fix anything. Why would you want to fix anything? It's perfect the way it is. You don't want to fix the child so that he can't fall down. Let him fall down because it's in the getting up that he is gifted. It's a privilege to fall down so that you can go inside and pull something really beautiful and marvelous and magical out of your insides and get up.
I love it. Ginger, if you were to give one message to the world, what would it be?
Probably what you would think. Just accept, recognize that you're here. Stop fighting it. Just recognize that you're here and that there's dark and light. Accept it. That's the hard part, because you might recognize it intellectually, but you're not going to accept it really. You're going to fight it. Accept that there are bad things that happen. And there are good people with bad stuff going on. And it overflows.
Yep.
And there are bad people with good stuff going on, and it overflows.
Mm-hmm.
We have to kind of hope that we're going to be in the right rainstorm or whatever, overflow. And then, think about it after you accept it and you say, okay, it's true that my grandfather was a pedophile. I didn't, but using an example, that there are people that got abused, or the person was too familiar with them and crossed the line, but that child loved that person, loved them with all their heart. They're never going to accept that happened and that it was bad. You have to grow into accepting the bad with the good, and don't let the bad cancel out the good. Mm-hmm. And don't let the good cancel out the bad. Mm-hmm. And this chair is possibly getting injured by my moving. It sounds...
It's fine. I think it's antique.
And so you accept it, you recognize it, you watch, be aware, watch, recognize things, see them for what they are. Accept that they are whatever they are. If you want to judge them as good or bad, but be aware that you just did. Don't condemn them either way. And think about it. Think, what does this mean for me? What does it mean? I don't particularly like my mother. She's really hard and cruel. What does it mean? I have to recognize that. Then I have to accept that I got the wrong parent and I was changed. Somebody switched us, of course, when we were infants. And then think, well, what was the purpose in my getting her? Maybe it was a blessing. Maybe it was a gift. Because it changes everything in me. And the more I think about her, and think about both the good things that happen and the terrible things that I don't want to think about, by the way, but I'm going to make myself. When I start doing that, I'm reprocessing in my brain, and my brain is growing. It's expanding and contracting, and expanding and contracting. And I'm becoming stronger and bigger and better and more capable. And only after you do those, which it sounds to me like I just said, okay, recognize, accept, and think. I just said rat. So there you go for life. So you rat, and then you take action. Only then do you take action. But by that time, the action has gone on, because you can't stop life. If you're alive, you're alive. If you're not, you're not. There are lots of people walking that I just consider dead men walking. But if you're doing this, recognize what's out there and what you're feeling and what you're seeing, accept it and think about it. You're into living experience, and there's no death at the end of that. That's not a product. Living experience is a process, not a product. There's no death at the end of it, at which you can't have life without death. Remember that. Because you can't create without destroying something. If you take a sheet of paper and cut it up to make a snowflake, you just destroyed the piece of paper. You've got a snowflake. This is the whole living experience. Everything is built off of the thing that came before it. Is that? Yeah. makes sense.
Thank you for being a light in this world. And I hope to see you again here at Glow.
I'm sure you will. I'm here.
We are. Thank you, Ginger.
You're welcome. Thank you.